Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NBA matches that is happening on Saturday, November 4th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comment section below. Phoenix Suns vs. Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia seems determined to demonstrate to the league that they can succeed without relying on James Harden. They've been excelling in team play, as evidenced by 3 players scoring more than 20 points in their recent game. The Suns will be traveling across the country, and their limited presence in the paint on both offense and defense could enable Joel Embiid to not only score points but also secure numerous offensive rebounds. Whether Devin Booker will be available to play remains uncertain, and if he's absent, the Suns will lose a crucial threat from beyond the arc. Nevertheless, Philadelphia's ability to dominate in the paint should give them the upper hand in this game. Philadelphia is favored by -4 points. Phoenix has a tendency to play at a faster pace when they're on the road this season. With their three-point offense ranked 9th in the league, they should have opportunities for open shots against Philadelphia, which has a bottom 10 perimeter defense. Additionally, both teams have struggled to effectively close out possessions, making it likely that there will be multiple opportunities for second-chance scoring. Given the 76ers' ability to take a high volume of shots in the paint and their proficiency at the free throw line, the current total appears to be too conservative. Even though both teams have shown solid defense recently, it's worth noting that 8 of the last 10 matchups between these teams have gone over the total, and I anticipate the same outcome here. Take the over at 222. Next we have Los Angeles Lakers vs. Orlando Magic. These teams faced each other earlier this week, specifically on Monday, with the Lakers managing to secure a 116-113 victory on their home court. In that game, LeBron James had his worst shooting performance of the season, going 7-17 from the field and scoring a season-low 19 points. Despite this, Los Angeles still had enough in their arsenal to narrowly overcome Orlando. The Magic have shown a tendency to perform better in the first half of games, which allowed the Lakers to pull ahead in the second half. The Lakers shot an impressive 53.2% from the field in that matchup and held Orlando to a 40% shooting percentage. Importantly, Los Angeles has not suffered a loss against the Magic in their last 7 meetings and has emerged victorious in 8 of their last 9 encounters. Additionally, the Lakers have covered the spread in 3 out of the last 5 meetings. It's worth noting that the Lakers have had an extra day of rest compared to Orlando. Considering these factors, it's advisable to bet on the Lakers to cover the spread. This season, both teams have experienced the undergoing 3-2 in their games, including Monday's meeting where they combined to score 209 points versus a 219.5 total. It was the second straight under between the two. These offenses do average 221.8 points per game this season, but combined their defenses allow 218.8 points per game. In this case, we'll take Monday's meeting as a prime example of how this game could play out. I'll take a buffer of say 10 points in the situation. Even if LeBron shoots better, odds are that he'll shoot more, and therefore others will not. Orlando can shoot better than they did in Los Angeles on Monday, but will they? If they do, I still wouldn't expect them to shoot lights out. Take the under. Next we have Charlotte Hornets vs. Indiana Pacers. Despite the fact that these two teams currently have a noticeable gap in their standings, they share several similarities. Both have encountered difficulties in containing their opponents and are among the higher-scoring teams in the NBA. The Hornets, who were one of the better rebounding teams in the NBA last season, have faced challenges on the boards this season. However, in this particular matchup, the Hornets should be able to compete on the glass against the Pacers, who also struggle in rebounding. Both teams have had their struggles shooting from beyond the arc, but they have capable shooters. Notably, Indiana ranks last in the NBA when it comes to defending the three-point shot, giving the Hornets better opportunities for successful shots near the rim. One significant statistic to consider is turnovers. The Pacers are currently averaging the fewest turnovers per game in the NBA, while the Hornets rank 20th in this category. This difference should provide the Pacers with more possessions in this game, potentially making a significant impact in a contest that appears evenly matched. With these factors in mind, it's advisable to consider taking the Pacers with a -4 point spread. Next we have Atlanta Hawks vs. New Orleans Pelicans. After beginning the season with 2 consecutive losses, the Hawks have made a strong comeback, securing 3 consecutive victories largely thanks to the outstanding performance of DeJounte Murray. He scored an impressive 41 points in their recent matchup against the Timberwolves and contributed an efficient 24 points in their last game, resulting in a win over the Washington Wizards. Quinn Snyder made some minor coaching adjustments in the preseason and early in the season, which seem to have had a positive impact on the Hawks' offense. Trae Young and Murray combined for a total of 18 assists and over 50 points, and I anticipate a similar outcome against New Orleans. The Hawks are entering the game as slight underdogs, so it's recommended to disregard the point spread and simply bet on them to win outright. Go with Atlanta. The Hawks are 4th in pace heading into this contest with the Pelicans. The season is far too early to generate any type of pattern yet, but under Coach Quinn Snyder they will push the tempo seeing as they are not an excellent defensive club. They figure to remain middle of the pack with respect to defensive rating. Atlanta is 2nd in points, right after the Boston Celtics, and they will crank up the tempo in this game against the slow-moving Zion Williamson and a much bigger Pelicans team. Brandon Ingram has been dealing with right knee tendonitis, seemingly for the last 5 years, so he is not expected to play. Regardless, take the over with confidence in what should be an exciting game. Next we have Sacramento Kings vs. Houston Rockets. Odds makers have designated this game as a close one, with the visiting Kings being only 2.5-point favorites. This is likely because Sacramento's top scorer, De'Aaron Fox, who averages 31.3 points per game, will be absent from the game due to an ankle injury. Nevertheless, I still favor the Kings and am willing to give up the points. The Kings outperform the Rockets in nearly every significant team category. Will Fox's absence make a difference? Perhaps to some extent. However, the Kings are significantly ahead of the Rockets at this juncture, boasting a well-established core of players who have demonstrated their ability to step up in critical moments. Ultimately, the key factor here is that Houston ranks as the 3rd worst team in the league in terms of defensive efficiency, allowing 114.2 points per 100 possessions. Therefore, I expect Sacramento to perform well even in Fox's absence against this less formidable opponent. I think Sacramento will have no issue scoring into the 110s, and we may even see them stretch their team total into the 120s. I mentioned how poorly Houston's defense has been this season above. Well, the Kings also enjoy pushing the pace, ranking 3rd overall in the league in pace, using 104.7 possessions per game. Meanwhile, despite being a lousy overall team, the Rockets are also a relatively fast team. They rank 15th in pace, using 100.2 possessions per game. It's worth noting that the over has cashed in 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two sides. I'll ride with the over in hometown on Saturday night. Next we have Utah Jazz vs. Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are arriving with a strong victory over the Nuggets, whereas the Jazz lost their most recent game and have experienced 3 defeats in their last 4 outings. In their encounters last season, these teams faced off 4 times, and the series was evenly split, with each team winning twice on the road. While Minnesota didn't have a stellar shooting performance in their last game, they showcased excellent defensive skills by limiting the Nuggets to less than 40% shooting. The Timberwolves are expected to maintain solid defensive play in this matchup, but similar to their previous game, their shooting may not be outstanding. The Jazz, known for their tenacity, may not necessarily secure a win, but they are likely to keep the game close. This is the reason why they are the preferred choice to cover the spread. Consider taking the Jazz with an plus 8-point spread. The last game for the Timberwolves went under, and that has been the winning pick in 3 of the 4 games for the Jazz. That is the pick I am leaning towards in this game, which will be far from a shootout. Minnesota killed it on D in their last game, holding the defending champion Nuggets to 39.6% shooting and only 89 points. Look for them to play good D again, as that has been their strength on the season, holding 3 of their 4 opponents under 98 points. They will play good defense, and add that to the fact they are not a high-scoring team, and you get the under for this game. Take the under 225.5.